Fuck, I'm so over Perth.
You haven't been there a long time.
So long.
Yeah, but it's just so hot all the time, and it's gotten to me.
Is today a bit better?
What?
Is today a bit better?
Today it seems a little bit better. Yesterday I was in the Frio lounge for fucking 6 hours, and by the end I was nearly going to collapse. It was just too hot. They've got no aircon. It's just fans blowing hot air around.
Yeah. Freo Lounge is just
Frio
fans.
sucks.
Oh, I like Freo though. Do you like Freo?
I like Fremantle
Yes.
in terms of the surrounds.
Yeah.
Good bars, restaurant. I'm actually going out on a double date to Frio tonight.
With who?
Me?
Yeah.
I'll
Good
be there. Nikki?
Whoa. Yeah.
One of my friends from primary school who now lives in Perth that I bumped into at the supermarket.
What?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever bumped into anyone in Perth.
I bumped into someone in like Dianella, which is like 20 minutes north of the city, 15 minutes north of the city, in their local Woolworths.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened to be a guy that I'm like, know really well.
Really well.
Really well.
What's his middle name?
I don't know. My closest friends, I would know their middle name.
Do you guys?
What's my middle name? Do you know my middle name?
Do any of us?
Great. Really strong start. Before we start rolling, it's like, I think I've been in Perth too long. You have, actually. You definitely have. Josh, just bleep that or some shit. I think leave it in to imply what is done.
Yeah, they'll put it together.
Yeah. I wonder what Hammer just said. He's known for it.
It's one syllable and they bleeped it out. What could it be?
It must be Daniel's middle name. He doesn't want that out there. He's very private.
I don't want my son's name or my middle name out
I'm
there.
allowed one every visit to Perth. When we were last year, we were going with Shad to have coffee at Bagalow's, and I yelled it out across the road.
Yeah, but that's quoting. That's different.
I was quoting.
That's like karaoke, dude. Everyone gets a hood pass when they enter the booth. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't know what you're saying.
Don't worry about it.
Is that why do you get a hood pass when you enter the booth? Is that a thing?
Well, just because you're saying the N-word during a rap song, Tom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, God.
So anyway, double date.
Yes.
We're going out in Freo tonight after my show. They're coming to my show.
Mm-hmm.
And he's never seen me do comedy as well, so that feels like a little bit of additional pressure.
Are they married? Are they out here? Are they living a life out here?
I don't know if they're married, but they got a kid together, and they're together.
Do you find that Perth suburbs sound more bogan than other, like Dianella? I'm like, ugh.
Joondalup?
Yeah, but that sounds indigenous. Which I rule out. I think anything indigenous is not bogan.
Okay.
Not to say that bogans can't be indigenous and indigenous can't be bogan. Everybody can do whatever.
Wanneroo?
Yeah, because the locals call that Wanneroot.
Oh,
That's a classic. I was in Wanneroo last night.
very
Yeah.
clever.
Oh, how was that? That looked fun.
Dude, yeah, good. It's a good time.
Yeah.
I
Where
always
is
have a nice
how far
time.
is Wanneroo from Perth?
30 minutes?
Yeah. Balcatta?
Yeah.
Balga.
Balga.
It's bad stuff going on in Balga.
Balcatta sounds like the roughest to me. It's just like, yeah, he's from Balcatta. Like, fuck, we should watch out.
Yeah. Balcatta. Malaga?
Malaga?
Malaga? Oh, we're probably
like
in
I mean, that's Spanish.
Okay.
Staying in a villa in Malaga.
That's a London chicken chain.
Yeah.
And they got a Wembley. Huh.
Yeah, Wembley apparently is...
What about Trig? Trig? I'm from fucking Trig. 2 Gs.
I think Wembley's nicer, I believe.
Whoa,
According
okay.
to Nikki, she did a show there.
What's the word on Dianella?
It's pretty bogan.
Pretty bogan?
Yeah.
Dianella. No way.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. It's fine, but it's just hot, flat, not much to do.
That is a big Perth thing. It's so flat, but there's so many mountain bikes, which means there's a high level of criminality. I've always found like the mountain bike to mountain ratio is a good indicator of how many cunts want to nick my phone.
Really, that's interesting.
Yeah, for sure, man.
But couldn't you just be a thief on just a regular bike? Why would you still need it to be a
Nah,
mountain
they need
bike?
the mountain, dude. They need it.
I like to see
don't know
more.
why.
I like to see more thieves in lycra. That would be good on a road bike.
I mean, that would be good, like, because the lycra, the police couldn't grab them, you know? Like,
Yeah,
it's how they
that's
have the
true.
skin-tight uniforms in rugby and stuff now.
Yes.
So you don't have anything to grip onto. And
Yeah.
also, I think if you're a thief wearing lycra, when the police officer's like, what does he look like? It's like, there's a guy wearing lycra. And they're like, nah, seriously, what did he look like?
Yeah, that's true.
But, it'd be great cover. Because
Yeah.
no one would expect it.
Yeah, you just blend into the peloton.
We're going to have to bring them all in.
Yeah.
Not the breakaway group.
Yeah, I think it was the sprinter. He was in a green jersey.
I still think it's too much of a sacrifice, for you to, if you want to do crime, that you have to wear the lycra. I think that'd be a step too far.
Well, you don't think that people would be willing to subvert themselves to lycra?
Nah, it'd be like, oh man, what was your loot? What was your score from the robbery? Like, wait, are you wearing lycra? And then he'd be mocked by his mates.
Relentlessly.
Yes.
Just being walked into prison in those weird shoes that clip into the bike.
Have
I guess we don't have to worry about taking the laces out of these guys.
have I told you guys? Have I told this story in the pod about the time my sister got robbed by a guy on a bike in New York?
No.
And she was like, she'd just moved. She'd only been in New York for a couple of months, and she was in Williamsburg,
Which is in Brooklyn. Fancy Brooklyn.
and she's walking down the street, broad daylight,
Whoa.
and she was just like looking at something on her phone, and a guy rode past and did the old snatcheroni.
Snatcheroni?
As no one has
Was he-
ever
was he
called
Italian?
it before.
An Italian thief.
I think he even went yoink.
I'm stealing here.
No, he was African American, from my sister's description, and she kind of had this moment where she just was like, well, "What do I do now?" And so she took off and chased after him.
To chase him.
She chased him,
A white lady thought she was going to outrun an African American on a bike.
and she caught him.
Fuck off.
And she jumped on the back of the bike, and the bike fell over, and she started wrestling with him for the phone, and she was saying, "What are you doing, you psycho?" Like yelling at her, like, "Get off!" And he ended up like letting go of the phone and got back on the bike and raced off. And people raced to look after my sister, and he didn't get anything.
Wow.
And then on top of that, she just got the subway home. And I was like, at that point, get a taxi, you mutter. Like, it's just...
But she's just proven she has nothing to be afraid of. Why would she be getting into the taxi?
When you become king of the yard, you don't go into solitary.
But I just like to picture that guy with, like, grazes all over it. And his mates being like, what happened? He couldn't tell that story.
No, that's so embarrassing.
And he was wearing lycra. No, he couldn't tell that story. What are you going to say?
Yeah, I stacked it on my bike.
Some white Australian woman tackled me.
Yeah, well, I was
After
trying to do
chasing
this
me.
after doing a snatcheroni.
Dude, it was post-Snatcheroni. Can you believe?
God, that is a Hamilton story, though.
So is your sister like a unit or like a former... Because you only ever told me she's like a lawyer, so I just pictured some kind of dork.
She's 6 foot, and she
She's
used
6
to play,
foot?
used to play netball for Australia, so she's pretty.
What?
Yeah.
Did you know this, Dan?
How has that never come up?
International
She was a
athlete.
professional. Yeah, she was doing her law degree while at the Australian Institute of Sport.
Uh-huh.
And like most people that are at the AIS, like defer, like they have some time off. But she was like, no, I can do both at the same time.
Wow.
Yeah,
And she a lawyer?
she's a lawyer
achieving
now. Yeah, now she's a contract lawyer in New York, lives in the Hamptons, and yeah, it's just a different life. You know, some of us excel in life, some of us, what's going on with me.
Record a podcast in someone else's hotel bed.
Well, she doesn't do this?
No, absolutely not.
So she played netball for what position?
She was a goal defense.
Goal defense.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's the kind of ones where like they're on their tippy toes with the long arms, and they try and just like really annoy the shooter.
Andrew Hamilton, netball commentator. Look at her on her tippy toes there. Her
And I'll
best.
tell you, she's very good at being annoying. So yeah, I can see why she excelled at that.
Is she older or younger?
She is 18 months younger.
18 months younger. And
Yep.
she's achieved all that.
And 6
Yeah.
foot.
Yeah, she's always been a high achiever, and I was like, well, you know, only one of us really needs to do it.
She's always been a high achiever. You've always been high and an achiever.
Here we go. Yeah.
How many siblings do you have?
I'm one of 5, but
What else have they achieved? Who else? What else have they represented Australia
my
for?
older siblings, they're half siblings. So for my mum, really, she only got eyes for the 2 of us. That she had herself, and yeah, obviously, Marianne, my younger sister, is the high achiever, and I'm the black sheep, dead shit of the family.
You can still represent Australia for netball. You can keep working.
I'd like to think that I'm having a pretty good comeback trajectory.
Yep.
You know, so
But she also seems tougher than you, though. 'Cause
Yes.
At no point have I ever heard you tell a story about chasing someone down who stole your drugs.
no, I would like shriek. I'd be like, "Stop that man!"
Sis, help!
Chasing down a bike, that's a lot of confidence. To even run after a bike is a lot of confidence.
Yeah, I think I mean I like to claim some credit for like just trying roughhousing her growing up.
Yeah.
So she was
Uh-huh.
We made him tough in Hornsby.
Sure.
This has a big Tiger Woods' dad energy. I don't think you understand. I made this kid's childhood miserable, so all his adult achievements belong to me.
But yeah, now she lives in the Hamptons and watches polo and I don't know, goes
Like
sailing.
live polo.
Yeah, we know with the horses and stuff.
I'm aware of the polo, yeah.
They go to those kind of things and they have a live-in nanny.
That's pretty sick. What ethnicity?
Filipino is the go-to nanny of the rich people of New York.
Okay.
Yeah, that they'll hear whispers of like a nanny that's on the way out, like the kids are getting too old, and they'll start making approaches
Inroads.
with gifts or I don't know offers, but like they'll have like live-in nannies making a fortune and like it's big money.
Well, like, wait, Tom, weren't you raised by a Filipino woman there for a while?
I lived in the Philippines for 3 years.
And did you have a?
Yeah, we had a lot of stuff. We had we had a live-in nanny, we had a live-in cook, we had a couple of bodyguards, a couple of guards, pool cleaner. All
Wait,
that
there's
stuff.
a bodyguard and a guard.
Well, there's a guy who like kind of goes with you wherever you go, and there was a guy who just sort of guarded
Guards
the
the
house.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Of course, indeed.
But my understanding is in this situation in New York, that the nanny also like does meal prep as part of the package.
Mm.
But you had
The package.
Part of it.
The kids are wearing little wristbands. We're on the package. Thank you. Sorry, just beers, no cocktails.
But you had a nanny and a cook that were separate people.
yeah.
Wow, that's
Well, but is that a thing in countries where the help in the house is more common? You actually employ lots of people. Like that's kind of like a polite thing to do versus like trying to get someone to do everything. You get like a bunch of stuff.
Are you saying what it's more fun for them to have like more people around? Than just
No, it's just more jobs, you fucking idiot.
I just think
You just want them to have banter in the house?
It's like getting a
a couple
budgie. You
more.
can't just get one. You're either going to get two, or you're going to get one of them a mirror.
good for their
It's
mental
like,
health.
look, we can't afford 2 servants, so we just got to get a servant and a mirror. They can just hang out, have a good time. I said serve. Is servant okay? I just said servant. I'm like, that's fine. What do you reckon?
Probably not.
Jeez.
I don't imagine so.
You don't think it's so what? They need to be specific. You need to be like cook,
Yeah.
nanny,
Yeah.
cleaner,
Mm-hmm.
guard,
Yeah.
driver. You can't say servant.
I don't
with
know,
a wide
yeah.
variety of
I
skills.
I mean, it doesn't sound super offensive, but perhaps
Servant.
it's just not-
Servant feels weird.
Does it?
I think so.
Yeah,
Butler. Butler
Butler.
feels.
I love a butler.
Everyone love a butler.
What makes
Obviously,
So was it a
everyone's-
big shock to the system to go from like having this army of Filipino slaves?
Just in case you're wondering if servant was on the nose.
Also, because Emma went, this army of Filipino slaves. Would have been disrespectful not to have an adjective.
To then move back to Australia, and it was like the poor Witcombes had to do it for themselves.
It's true.
Well, because
I think they put a couple in there. Carry on. Brought them back. The most effective slaves.
well, no, because I was maybe 9 when we moved to the Philippines. We were only there for 2 or 3 years, and then you're back. So you know it's not real. Like it's sort of it's such a microcosm. It's so specific. You come back to Australia, like, well, we can't do this anymore
Or can we?
because they confiscated them at customs.
And also, I'm sure far too expensive. It's cost prohibitive here in Australia
That's true.
to have an army, a whole wait staff, right? But
Army.
yeah, you do see these stories sometimes of like people who have like had like a nanny or something, and then like just kept them as a slave.
What?
Where do you see
You
these
see it?
stories?
Yeah, thank you.
In Australia, right? You'll have times where like someone will like steal someone's passport, It could be like even like a random cousin or something, right? It'll be like a Pakistani family, and they have like someone.
You had to get specific.
I'm pretty okay.
You had to mention
We're gonna-
a nationality.
I'm just saying
For
there
this
have been
baseless claim.
These human servitude stories happen in Australia about once a year or two. I see it pop up, and I'm like, oh, this is pretty juicy.
We're due one already.
Yeah.
Once a year, twice a year. Where are you seeing these stories?
Okay, there was one involving some woman that was working for the for one embassy in Australia, and she was getting abused and paid nothing, and they confiscated her passport, and then she had to get assistance.
Wait, in the embassy?
Yeah.
Well, that's not technically Australian soil, right?
Okay. All right. Well, that's one example. There are other ones.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to look this up.
I don't know if you finding it will be a positive.
Well,
I think we're still very much on neutral territory here. But I mean, I think there's always those nefarious things going on
around
around the place. But I'm still more just impressed with so why did you have guards and bodyguards? Was it that unsafe to go around?
I think it had the potential to be. So there was a terrorist organization in the Philippines at the time called I'm not gonna remember, but there were stories they would kidnap expats and then hold them for ransom. And I think it was if you could afford to have the protection, then why wouldn't you? And everyone could afford it.
Sure. But Tom, as someone who's long searched for an indication of how fond his father is of him,
Yep.
surely being kidnapped would have been, nice to get a dollar amount.
I was trying to get away any chance I could.
Here we go. A 59-year-old man and a 48-year-old woman have been charged as part of an Australian Federal Police investigation in allegations of human trafficking and servitude at a cake business in Western Sydney.
You reckon they were inside the cake? There's nobody here, officer. Help! Help! That's a pretty big cake. Yep. Made it ourselves, didn't we?
Have either of you ever seen anyone come out of a cake?
I saw
You
this.
sat up so aggressive.
Only in movies. What?
No, I saw this on the street once and it blew my mind. It was a lady dressed scantily pushing the cake. So she has to deliver herself.
Yeah, right.
I never, because I'm just like, how long are they in the cake?
Sorry, explain this to me again.
So she's walking down the street. I just see a lady kind of dressed up, but with one of those big, clearly someone comes out of it cakes. So I was like, she's the lady who comes out of the cake.
You saw the before shot. You saw this before she gets in there.
Yes.
But is it a real cake?
I did not taste it.
No, but does it look like it had frosting and stuff on it, or was it?
Are we talking like a tiered wedding cake
I
kind of
think-
tall thing?
Yeah, I think the speed at which she was pushing it suggested it was not actually a cake.
My understanding of it was always that the bottom layers were artificial, and then the top of it was a cake.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe there's a tiny cake on top.
Yeah,
But I mean, in 2025, who can be sure if anything is a cake or not?
that's true.
They've made a whole series of it.
That's what the final test for robots is going to be. Once they master the traffic light, they're going to be like, "Is it a cake?" And they're going to be like, "Fuck."
That's the new Turing test. Yeah.
That's when AI is too powerful.
But how? So was there a clear way you could see where she would enter the cake?
The top.
What? But then how did she? There was a trap door.
Like a secret lifty door?
Look, are you guys familiar with the film Ocean's 11?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are you aware of how the small Asian man gets inside the safe and then out of the safe?
Yeah.
I felt like it was that scenario.
Right. But that was just what do you call a cart he got into. There was a lid.
But that seems to be what the cake is. It's just decorations around a cart.
Right.
That would be my assumption, based on kind of how she was pushing it, how it seemed to be structured. But I've never been at an event with someone climbing out of a cake.
No.
And
I feel like
have we missed out?
well, it's not too late. I've
At the
found,
Floggies
I
next year,
found
maybe?
rental dwarfs and fatograms on the internet. Surely there's a hot chick that'll hide at a cake website.
Why's it got to be a hot chick, bro?
I mean, if I'm going to go to that, if I'm going to spend money on it, I'm my metrics I'm looking for. I don't really care about the taste of the cake. You can pick any actual cake.
Well, why don't we- if we
what's some other ones? Forest something?
Carrot.
carrot cake.
Black Forest is what you're going for.
But it's got to be a hot chick.
But if we get a dwarf to do it, we'll need a much smaller cake. And then the Fatagram can eat it afterwards.
Combine all my favourite novelties in one.
Yeah.
Suggesting.
The Fatagram, you're like, look, we can't pay you in money, but we have something you're going to love.
Have you ever seen that there was like back at the same time as like 2 girls, 1 cup and all those like insane viral videos? One of my favourites was one called Cake Farts. Did you ever see that one?
No.
Unfortunately, I missed out on cake farts. Cake farts?
Cake Farts.
Okay.
It may have been one word.
All one word.
And it was just this like reasonably attractive woman like walks in and there's just like a giant chocolate cake on a kitchen bench. And she just goes, you know what I like the most? Cake farts. And then she just gets up and just puts her bare ass into a chocolate cake, covers it in chocolate, and then just starts farting.
Is it like blowing bubbles? Is it
It's
like
like-
liquid chocolate?
It's kind of like, vibrating chocolate icing on a butthole. And she can fart. Like, it's impressive the amounts, like the variety of sounds. And yeah, but
The variety of sounds. You like the different pitches of the farts.
Do you think people who can fart on demand, is that something that is it a skill they've cultivated? They've gone out of their way to learn to be the person who can fart on demand? Or is that just something you're born with?
I think you have to discover you've got the talent and then you work at it.
You think
Yeah.
it's a long process. It's like stand-up. You discover your voice.
You can't just be like, you can't just say to someone, hey, can we get you to just come and fart in the cake? We don't know if it's going to be any good or not. No, you'd want to be pretty confident
Yeah.
on the fart delivery.
Absolutely.
Because the cost of the cake.
Yeah,
That probably wasn't a first take.
Nah.
You know? They've warmed up. But like, do you reckon also with something like that, it's kind of like, male porn stars eating heaps of celery?
What? I don't know about this.
Because that increases the size of your load.
does it?
Yeah.
Celery loads. So wait, so we're gonna have what, pineapple to sweeten it,
Yes.
and then celery to increase
To bulk it
the
out.
jism.
Increase the jism. That's right.
Celery.
Is this?
That's like a thing.
Is this pseudo size? Is this what is?
No, I'm pretty sure. It's
is it
legit.
exclusively celery? Is the only thing?
Oh, you can take like pills and stuff as well, but like
So you're saying Peter North was just like a big
Yeah.
celery eater?
just a beast. He's on the hummus and celery at home 100% of the time.
Okay.
But I was just thinking about it with the fart thing. It's just like, yeah, she's already got the natural talent. She's got the ability, but she needs to nail it today. So she's just like hitting the beans hard the night before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She like dieting specifically in order to deliver on these farts.
All right, here we go. Here's what AI has to say. While some people believe eating celery can increase ejaculate volume, there is currently no strong scientific evidence to support this claim.
Okay. All right.
All right,
Although-
give me 3 minutes and Pornhub, and I'll show you some proof, cunt.
Well, you've already been eating the celery, have you?
Look,
You've already had the celery?
whenever I'm on the road away from Mary, I like to eat as much celery as possible. So when I come back, I shoot the biggest load. I missed you this much.
That's how she knows if you've been faithful or not. It's like,
Absolutely.
I want to see this monster load.
The bar's like, you're like, can I get another Bloody Mary? Thank you. It's like, but you barely touched the last one. He's only eating the garnish. That's right.
Extra garnish. Keep it coming.
I would say though, because it's saying there is no strong scientific evidence. Can you imagine being a scientist who's like, I know what I'm going to do for my PhD. I have a theory I need to test.
That'd be so funny. We got a control group here. These are just regular dudes coming. And we've got our celery eaters.
Just dudes coming in your apartment. Like, it's an experiment. I'm running a test. Get out of here, Mum.
Look, just no rats were harmed, all right? It was this, or I was going to have to kill a lot of mice. Have you not had any friends who've done like medical science stuff? It's just they're just killing mice every week, just heaps of them. And so it's sad.
Yeah.
Regardless of the experiment, it's always going to end up killing mice.
It's a sacrifice to the hypothesis gods.
Aren't you a physicist?
Yeah, I believe in gravity. Drops the mouse off the building.
Yeah.
Fuck. These goddamn sadists. Is that how you guys?
I mean, sometimes I remember like doing experiments in high school and stuff and feeling like this was fun. Like I feel like I wouldn't mind being in a situation where I could have theories and test them out and experiment.
You wouldn't mind being a scientist?
Not a scientist.
Is that what you're
Just a
saying?
guy. Just a guy running experiments. You know?
What does that mean? You can run experiments.
I want to be
whenever
a
you
guy
want.
running experiments.
Okay, so like
I want to have theories and test them.
Like,
I'm a
okay, so
comedian.
like-
I do that every night.
so like MythBusters kind of shit, right? So like I
Here we
guess
go.
we could do the celery experiment to start with.
Mythbusters up late.
The Mythbusters OnlyFans.
Myth emphasis busters.
Come load day 12.
You're doing it like one of those 2-camera like doco things.
Yeah.
Yeah, this morning's load was pretty big. I thought being tired would affect it. It wasn't. Just eating celery.
What were the other great sort of late 2000s internet niche kind of gross out websites? Do you remember Meatspin? Meatspin was a good one.
Of course, Lemon Party.
Lemon Party.
Lemon Party was a classic.
I tried to change actually when I was with Dan in Bellingen and Dan had his laptop out while he was on stage. I tried to change his homepage to Lemon Party. Doesn't exist anymore.
oh, what?
Couldn't do it.
Yeah, all the fellas died.
For anyone that doesn't remember Lemon Party who's listening right now, it was called lemonparty.org.
Yep.
And it was
It was a great organisation. Lots of donations to keep it afloat.
I wonder where they were running. Vote 1, Lemon Party.
it was just a photo.
Lemon Party.
It was just an image of
We've got
three.
one mandate. It's dating man.
It was just a photo of like 3 elderly men on a bed sucking each other off.
Yeah.
And it was so good as like
I never understood why the lemon.
No.
it didn't. It was for me. It was just about intrigue. You know, it was so innocuous.
And I was sitting in front of the photo with a notebook. Who are they? What do they want?
Who took the photo?
There's no way they set up this self timer on that camera. There's no way they knew how to do that. They'd have to get one of their granddaughters to do it.
It could have been anything. Lemon Party. I'll check out the Lemon Party. You know, but if it had been gayoldmen.org, I would have been. I wouldn't have bothered. But
you just keep going to lemonparty.org? I don't know why. I just love the name.
it felt to me like you know, in that movie The Ring. You know, like to like pass on the curse, you have to like show someone else it. It was like once someone tricks you into saying Lemon Party, and then you like feel like, okay, now I'm gonna get a few other people.
Yeah, that's like the original Ring was the Pen 15 Club.
Yes. Yeah.
What was that? Because what's the pen?
Oh, do you want to join?
Could I, please?
We should get Tom to join the Pen 15 Club.
You never joined?
Dude, I just got so excited. It's like, yes, we can get him.
Don't indulge us, Tom.
Do you remember there was another website called Pen Island? Did you ever go to that? Penisland.com?
No.
Which obviously is penis land. But when you went to penisland.com, it was just about pens.
There was a group of girls when I was in high school that they used to write on their hand SCFF, which was sucks cock for fun. They were pretty popular.
Yeah, they must have been at an all-boys school. What was this? Primary school, which is terrifying.
These are all good points.
It
What's
was
that?
girls from PLC Pinball that we knew.
Ah, PLC, Prostitute's Last Chance.
Yep.
Suck cocks for fun.
Yep.
And
That
did
just seems like a bad business decision.
Just like
Suck cocks for
fun?
cash.
Yeah. Well, some of them did, but well, not cash, but like just goods and services.
Go on. What were these goods and services?
Oh, it's not worth getting into on the pod.
No. Where else to get into it if not the pot? What goods or services?
I think there was a girl from memory at house parties who would like jack off or suck off guys for like, I don't know, like a quarter of a bottle of vodka and stuff like that.
Did she measure?
Just asking your 3 friends that you guys want to go 4 ways on a bottle of vodka.
I thought you're not drinking. I'm not.
You know, it was the 2000s. It was a wild time.
It was a different time.
That just seems like a low price.
Absolutely low price. Yeah.
Absolute bargain.
And it wasn't even good vodka. It No, it was like Boris Karloff or something, you know, just one of those obscure Russian brands that like cost like $15, and you're like, okay, and you're there with some awful fake ID, and the guy just like, I'm not getting paid enough to care about this.
Boris Karloff.
Have you ever had? Have we talked about this before? Have you ever had someone like kids ask you to buy them booze?
We did talk about it.
Oh.
Why did we talk about it?
It was Cam James.
Yes, you went here.
Okay.
Did you have a story?
Oh no, I've just been asked to do it once, and I was like, I've never been asked to do it before, and they look like sensible kids that weren't going to cause too much trouble, so I went and did it, and even gave them out the change.
Hey, what's that? What's that written on your hand there? All right, I'll buy you some.
But have you done it?
With the Cam James thing, I think I have, but mate, I don't have like a strong memory of it.
Tom absolutely would say no.
No, absolutely not. Yeah,
Big
but
joke.
What a fucking nug.
what did you buy them? What did they ask
Oh,
for?
I can't remember. It was so long ago now. It was like it's always they want something cheap. It's like a goon bag or like fucking passion pop or something dog
Yeah.
shit.
I've always thought about that, like buying alcohol underage. If you bought something that a kid would never buy, do you reckon that's as good as getting like a fake ID?
Okay.
Just like I'm just getting, you know,
Hennessy?
half a mixed half dozen red wines,
yeah.
and the guy's just like, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna make you put them all back. You don't know where they came from.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
What else is there that you could? What other drink would no kid ever get?
Like Aperol spritz.
Just yeah.
Just get the ingredients for that.
Just anything pricey.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hennessy, Scotch, like just like the high end of stuff. It's always the absolute cheapest thing in any booze category.
Yeah, I remember at house parties drinking like knockoff Malibu because Malibu was too expensive.
yeah.
So like
Oh,
Bombora.
Wipeout or something.
Yeah,
it's called.
Wipeout and shit.
Oh
There
fuck,
was, like,
that
a
was
few.
absolute ass. Fuck, I remember drinking a lot of that. Yeah. There's those fucking crazy like drinks now called like Fat Lamb or something like that.
Oh, I see those around a lot. Yeah.
Oh man, and they're like a premixed, like high
Ginger
alcohol
beer, isn't it?
percentage, but they're like really high percentage.
It's like 8%.
They just anything which is cheap or like just absolutely jacked full of that's very strong and sweet. They're like dead giveaway. That's something a kid's drinking.
Yeah, for us it was like the Smirnoff Double Blacks. That was the classic. 2 standard drinks a can. Let's go.
Do they still exist?
I assume so.
Smirnoff.
Smirnoff Double Blacks.
I don't know. I think they do, but I don't know if they're as high alcohol as they used to be.
Is it all like hard solo now? Or they can't call it hard solo anymore?
It's
Or can
called
they?
hard rated.
Hard rated.
People. Oh, I saw this. I was at a pub the other day, and these bunch of like I reckon 22-year-old, a group of 22-year-olds came in, and they only ordered hard solo, hard rated, whatever, and they were doing some kind of pub golf thing where they could only drink like they had to feed each other their drinks. So they would hold the pint glass up to each other's mouths, and they would like hold their hand up for as long as they wanted to drink it for. They came and just smashed 2 pints and then left.
Okay. Sounds reasonably civilized.
Civilized, you reckon?
Well,
Just a couple of boys
I
feeding
don't
each
know.
other drinks.
If my mate's holding up a sign of like how long he wants to drink for, I'm not listening to that. I'm like, you'll drink till I tell you you're done, motherfucker.
Yeah, like the old goon laybacks. It's just like, nah, keep going. Like, ugh. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the youth are disappointing.
Absolutely. Every time I see these guys that you know are going to go and try and like sexually assault someone or bash someone, and they're always drinking like just the sweetest drinks. It's always vodka cruisers.
And that's what offends me. That's the real issue.
Well, I'm just like, you know, toxic masculinity it's gone even further south. It used to be about just a bunch of guys drinking beers and trying to have a laugh and try and fight each other over a pool table. It was a simpler time.
It was a simpler time.
You know, you'd say to a guy, do you want to take it outside? And then he'd go, yeah. And then when he turned around, you'd punch him in the back of the head. It's a classic move.
Then we finally got your ring name for the boxing. Cheap Shot Hamilton.
That's an old classic pub move.
Classic for a reason. Oh, fuck. I was going to say something. I forgot what oh, yeah. Last night, I saw a homeless man fighting like a very bizarre battle in the streets of Perth.
Okay.
He was sitting there outside a restaurant where we were like, eating some food. And he was sitting there. He had like a big bucket, like not like kind of like a hat or anything, like a big, it almost looked like a bin. It was like kind of like two pots pushed together. But he had it like in the middle of the footpath on like, what's that street? Hay Street, Francis Street, James Street. Mm-hmm. It's like the busiest foot traffic street in Perth. Like it's crazy. And he had it like in the middle of the footpath. He was like sat quite a long way away from it. And it was just constantly people walking, knocking it over, like almost falling over, people thinking it was a bin, chucking rubbish in it. And he was just there. And just kept putting it back in the exact same spot like the entire time with this like fucking resolute face kind of thing. And I'm just like, I just don't know how effective a strategy it is.
Wait, what was it? Was it for people to put change in?
Money in, yeah.
Right.
Oh, okay.
But it was like so far away from him that you kind of didn't even realize it was for him.
No. And was there any signage on it? at
None.
all? None.
And he never, like every now and again he'd say like any change, like, but like maybe once every 10 minutes he'd say that to kind of nobody in particular.
And did you say there was two of them?
No, just one.
Okay. But yeah, that is strange. But when people put rubbish in it, would he go in and take the rubbish out?
Correct. And he'd look really upset. As you would.
Yeah. Well, I think he needs. Did you try and offer him some free advice on his strategy?
I did. Went over and I was like, mate, this just isn't good business. I've got a podcast you should listen to
Business.
by Andrew Hamilton and Alex Milinkovic.
Yeah. I got a guy who might be looking for someone to fuck his wife, if you'd be into that.
I think with a couple of handy tips, we could get his revenue streams up from $0 to maybe $10.
Well, I did actually give him some money just because I was just, this is going so poorly.
You gave him the pity money.
I gave him a little bit of pity money, but I didn't put it in. I just gave it to him because I was like behind him.
But you gave him like pity money beyond the regular pity money he's looking for.
Correct.
Yeah. Do I wonder what? Yeah.
But it kind of felt like I was investing in a failing business.
How much did you give? Is that how you think giving money to homeless people works? It's like, I'll be coming back for this plus 5%.
To call my accountant, guys, it was a capital loss again. Unbelievable.
What? How much did you give him?
I gave him 5.
That's nice.
I feel like giving homeless people change now, like as in coins, is kind of insulting.
Yeah, I agree. But the additional problem is most of the time when it's someone I would give money to, they're like, I don't carry cash.
Yeah. How do you have? Why do you have cash? You getting cash for work over here? And
No.
If the ATO is listening, of course not.
I would never accept cash for merch.
Work. Right.
Or work.
Okay.
I would only accept cash from friends.
Okay.
So I've got some cash.
Okay.
Got a lot of friends here in Perth.
Okay. Mr. Popular.
Walk around tonight, see Dan with a big bucket on the ground.
I've seen buskers now that'll have the money collection thing, but also a square reader.
Yeah.
So you can just punch in whatever you want.
Yeah.
Do we need to start working with the homeless to assist them with that part?
It's only a matter of time, right? Sure.
I have a square reader that I use to sell books, and last night we used it to sell tickets to my show. Mm-hmm. And what else could I use this square thing for? I'm happy to work with the local homeless for a commission.
Imagine having to specify the local homeless, the international homeless. Where should I mail this to?
I'll work with local homeless, and I'll set up my square reader. I'll even like stand on the street and spruik them.
Oh yeah.
Is that what you think they need? A spruiker.
Well, if we're going to
Ladies and gentlemen, this man is down on his luck. I hit down on his luck. He needs to go to the shop to get some liquids. His mouth is very dry from meth. Ladies and gentlemen, going once, going twice.
He might buy some booze, but he was also very hungry. And,
the bike's not his, ladies and gentlemen. The police will figure that out at any time. At any time. You simply must give him money.
I will do all that for 30%.
What?
30.
That is an outrageously low figure.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, these blokes have no leverage.
They got no leverage. I feel like I'm doing most of the work.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. You're facilitating the transfer and you're paying tax on it.
Yeah. You learning from the comedy festival model, are you? So what you're doing? So, man, I'll give you a great location. You're on at 9:45.
You will be in the printed program of all the homeless of Perth.
And if you want, you could sell that program.
It will be in alphabetical order. Numbers first. 101 reasons I lost my home. 2 broke guys.
001 cents to my name.
The all-star aardvark homeless fella.
I think there's something here because this square reader is just with me all the time, and it's such an easy thing. I just got to find more excuses for people to tap on the thing. I'm thinking, if anyone's talking to me for too long, I'm just going to bring out the square reader now and just be like, to extend combo. Sorry, extend the combo with Harmony.
Yeah.
Extra's going to cost
Like
you
a
20
like a payphone.
You are out of credit. Please insert 50 cents to continue.
Come on, mate. Come on, mate. You've extended your chat time.
That's so funny.
Yeah, start handing out prepaid cards for chats with Hammer.
I think you're literally describing the Brewski with Drewski tier
Yeah.
on the Patreon.
You're trying to
True.
microdose the brewski with Drewski.
Yeah. It is, I want... That'd be so weird. Just like talking to someone who's like, sorry guys, obviously this is taking 5 minutes.
Well,
And,
here's the thing. I was at the Frio Lounge last night and a guy offered to buy me a beer. And I didn't really want a beer, but it's quite a strain to turn it down. But what if I just said, I don't want a beer, but you can tap the price of that?
for the price of one beer.
Yeah. You could donate the cost of that beer that I could have with someone who I want to drink with. How would that be?
I could have said, yeah, the beer was going to be $11. I could have just said, here's a square reader, tap away. It's the same thing, isn't
And
it?
honestly, man, I appreciate it more. But the beer is a binding social contract after a show, obviously. You both know that.
What,
If someone
as
buys you a
in-
beer after the show, they get to talk to you
Oh, yeah.
for as long as they want.
Oh, I disagree.
You disagree?
Not as long as they want. No, they get 90 seconds of my time.
90 seconds? I would have thought for the duration of the beer would be my
I
thought.
think that's generally
Okay, I can drink a beer in much less.
Yeah.
Can I buy you a
That's what I
beer?
said.
You scull it and then leave?
Okay, all right,
Thanks,
see ya.
mate.
Get on out.
See you, fuckhead.
No, I'm absolutely not hanging around just because you bought me a beer.
No?
No.
Really? I thought you would.
I think one of the proest
no.
moves you can do as an audience member is like, would you like a beer? And then they bring it and they're like, have a good night, and they walk off.
Yeah,
And
that's
you're like,
that's a nice
"Oh,
move.
Wow. Because then sometimes they'll be like, no, stay.
You don't want to
talk.
talk? I have thoughts.
I promise I'm really nice. I ask questions.
Yeah, the walk off is great. That's classy, and then you get it. But
Do you reckon that'd work with like chicks in bars? Hey, can I buy you a drink? And you give it to them and you just leave? And they're like, the fuck? I gotta follow that man. He's mysterious.
They would be like, for sure there's something in this drink.
Yeah. That's such a good point.
I'll be back in an hour.
Don't move.
See me riding back and forth with Lycra on a mountain bike.
Don't worry, I'll find you. Yeah, you're not going to get far.
You're not gonna get far. Like a wounded deer.
Just you in the corner with binoculars in a ghillie suit.
Oh, that's funny.
I'd love to have a ghillie suit.
Yeah, like a really good one.
Can you get them in Australia?
For
I think you're like asking me personally. Yeah, can you get
Dave,
those?
can you get one?
One of my
A ghillie suit?
we've probably talked about it before, but I used to love on watching To Catch a Predator, and then they like the suspected pedophile would like leave the house, and one of the cops would be like in the bush in a ghillie suit and just like tackle them. It was like such overkill when they already had like 10 cops surrounding the place. But you just have this like this skinny wussy pedo sex offender just getting like tackled by a giant guy in a ghillie suit, and it just visually looks so good.
Do you think there's a market in Australia to be the ghillie suit comedian? Like, that's your gimmick.
Yeah, you get Adam Gilchrist to do your ads.
You just so you have like some kind of bush set up on stage,
You
and then everyone
emerge.
comes out to watch the show, and then what do you reckon? You start talking before you move, like
You start doing the
Thanks.
acknowledgement of country, and like without moving, then you move. Like, whoa.
good to be here, guys.
But where am I? Where is here?
We should do a pilot ad.
All right.
Tom's written one this time, has he?
I've actually done it. I've done it.
So proud of Tom.
If I can find my phone. Here it is.
Can you imagine?
I
Tom's
may-
like, I don't have my phone. Oh no.
Can you imagine? Yes, I've gone all in on
All
the,
in?
on the pilot one. I felt like I had to
Push the chips in.
I don't know. We'll see.
We're waiting for the
I
flop.
love when someone like sets expectations super high.
I'm not saying that it's going to be good necessarily. I'm just saying I've taken some swings.
Okay.
So I've written one for Andrew this week. Andrew, Pilot, this podcast brought to you by Pilot. We write ads for each other every week. Got to read it. Sight Unseen, I've written one for Andrew.
Pilot Men's Health.
Hi there, floggers. Comedian and serial pest Andrew Hamilton here. There's a lot of things that I love in life. Chicken parmigiana, beers, abreves, Googling my own name. But there's one thing I love more than anything else in this world. Sack whacking cunts. For most of my life, if you were unlucky enough to run into me after 9 p.m., chances are I was going to try and hit you in the testicles at least once. That was until last night. At first, it was a night like any other. I was at the pub going up to random groups of Nepalese people asking them if they knew who I was and whether they could get me a free Palmer upgrade. But then out of the corner of my eye, I saw him, a stranger, walking away from the bar with a beer in each hand. Oh my God, I thought. He's defenseless. Instinctively, I sprinted towards him. I loaded up my backhand like a prime Rafael Nadal and unleashed an almighty sack tap to the stranger's groin. Instantly, I knew I'd fucked up. A sharp pain shot through my knuckles, the likes of which I'd never experienced. I let out an almighty cry and crumbled to the floor, clutching my misshapen claw of a hand. I'm waiting to see how this links to
You
photos.
really need to give it something, all right? I need you to kind of...
Fear and confusion in my eyes, I looked up to my would-be victim. Sorry, mate, he said with a grin. I'm on Pilot. I looked down and saw the raging erection jutting out of his jeans like a Raiden's horn.
Raiden's?
Raiden's horn.
Right on. Pokemon reference.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Okay. It was at that moment I realized that the man with the diamond-tipped appendage was no stranger at all. It was Ben from Yeah Mad TV. He callously stepped over my crumbled body, necked both pints, and then fucked my girlfriend in front of the entire pub, while the crowd cheered him on and proceeded to unfollow me on Instagram. What a fucking loser, I overheard one patron say. I'm subscribing from the OGs and going back to watching Yeah Mad. It was a horrible dream from which I would never wake up. Go to pilot.com.au and get your own sack whack defense system today. Use the code floggers20 for $20 off your first order. Pilot, hard made easy.
Wow.
That was that our flogger version of War and Peace?
Could be.
That was, what a journey.
What a journey. What a narrative.
It was fun. I
So
liked it.
I broke my hand on a giant hard cock.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
giant pilot cock.
I like the concept, the idea that, that a pilot makes erections so hard, they're like a sack whack shield.
Deterrent.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's opening up some new creative possibilities for me in my head, Tom.
What
so
would
thank
you do if you sack whacked a man and felt an erection?
Oh,
What is there to do?
Would you just ignore it?
I think
like
you
when
gotta
you
ignore it.
brush another man's hand in an elevator?
I would probably double down. Like, so I'd be like, okay, he's got like this, the shield's up. The shield's up. I'm going for a lower.
Come from behind?
I'm going for a lower attack. Gotta make sure I hit those nuts.
Gotta make sure I hit those. Know what I'm saying? Oh.
Yeah, it's a sack whack, not a dick whack.
Exactly.
I was like, in my head, I was like,
If I got a dick whack, that's fine. I can handle that. But a good sack whack right in the balls, you're in trouble for a good few minutes.
oh, it's a very unpleasant experience.
That like brief moment where the pain hasn't quite set in yet. Like, is this gonna fuck? There it is.
Yeah. Yeah, that moment, I'm in deep trouble here, boys.
I mean-
and then you collapse.
I've never put this together before, but we're currently in a fertility crisis in most Western countries. Could we?
Is it everywhere? I know.
Yeah.
I know Japan ain't fucking enough.
Dude, neither are we, neither's America. It's a whole thing.
We're not fucking enough.
And is it because of the sack whack? Because I believe the sack whack is potentially a 90s, 80s, like this kind of. I can't imagine the 50s anyone whacking sacks.
You don't think so?
Too homophobic.
Oh, you reckon that's what's holding people back?
Yeah.
I don't think it's gay though.
Yeah, you wouldn't. That would be far too much to confront, wouldn't it? Yeah, it does feel pretty. It feels pretty intimate for the 50s or 60s.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
And it's just like, so you reckon we've just in high school been sack whacked so much that our testicles have endured suffering and no longer produce as much semen.
You think
despite
it's
the celery we're
You
eating?
think the sack whack is lowering the sperm count?
That's what I mean.
You're saying.
I think there's a trauma there.
I heard laptops were a real concern about sperm counts.
But they're a great sack whack shield.
Yes, that's true.
I mean, I never put my laptop on my actual lap though.
Never. Not once. Never happened.
What? Ever.
No,
What?
That's
No.
crazy.
I'm using
Wrong.
I'm using tables.
What about-
Always?
What about in bed?
Airplanes.
Airplanes, you put it on the
Table,
the tray.
Yeah.
No, because the lid doesn't like.
I'm not. I can't picture a scenario where I'm lapping the laptop.
On your bed.
Well, I've got an iPad, don't I? But yeah, I guess okay. There have been times, but that wouldn't be. It's on my not even on my lap. Then I'm like laying in bed. It's on my gut.
The old gut top
So
computer.
therefore, I'm still my sack whack defenses are still.
Now you're in even more trouble because you're
can't see.
blind.
Yeah.
It's like
Can't see over the laptop.
it's like those glasses where the bottom's blacked out to practice dribbling in basketball.
I've never heard of that.
It's a
Wait,
thing.
so you can't look at the ball.
Correct.
Yeah.
Should just know where the ball is by feel.
Yeah, and then next thing you know, you're sack whacking Kevin Durant. Never see it coming.
Those basketball guys, they know where the balls are by feel. They can sack whack you without even looking down. They can keep their eye on the ring, sack whack you. Keep moving. And just think about the reach on those fellas, you know? Victor Wembanyama can sack whack a man across a room.
It's funny to think that that was the first ever sack whack. Quite a reach. Do you think? The first guy
that
to be like,
pun?
would this be funny? Well, you know what I mean?
First sack whack, what a reach, like literally.
Yeah, sure.
So what, you reckon just the first guy is like, this is going to be funny?
Yeah, it's pretty bold. Bold decision.
Who do you think was the first sack whacker?
Definitely went to a private school. He's definitely on one of those like plaques on the school wall, the next to the school captains.
Do you reckon there's like little monument? The first sack whack occurred here in 1937.
I hope so.
It could have even been like a someone getting hit with like a ball, like a innocuous something thrown through the air, get hit in the sack, and then the guy who's the perpetrator.
Oh, I get one back.
Is apologizing. Oh, fuck you, man! And then there's like a retaliatory sack whack.
Oh, so you think the first sack whack is in self-defense?
Possibly.
Okay.
Yeah, a revenge for a sack injury from a not from a hand flick.
A payback sack whack.
He was a payback sack whack, possibly.
A payback sack whack.
and then
You know what you are.
and then there's just two guys with sore sacks being like, "Oh fuck, that really hurt," but it was pretty funny.
But at least we're on even playing field
Yeah,
now.
yeah. And then that's pretty funny. And then they go, "Well, you know, do it to Dave."
Who's Dave, you know?
And then he gets sack whack, and he's like, "Oh man, that sucked. Fuck you!" And then it just spread like a virus.
And next thing you know, the population is in dire trouble.
That's true.
It's getting out of control.
Only in Western cultures, though.
Oh, really?
I believe there's no sack whacking in Asia, the Middle East, South America.
Well, there's still good sperm counts there.
Some places, yeah. I mean, Asia's in a lot of trouble, I think, but
So is it a sperm count thing or is it a rooting thing?
it's a bit of both. I think people generally have less viable sperm, but it's also people are having less children. They measure fertility based on output.
Ah.
Because, like, think about it. A lot of people never get a fertility test. But yeah, in the studies they've conducted, apparently it is lower. Sperm counts are lower.
Okay.
I don't think egg counts are lower because the chicks are smart. They keep the sacs internal.
You've had one of these
Cannot
tests.
be whacked.
Dan, is that like, do you get a sperm count? Like, do they give you a number?
Yeah.
How'd you go?
High.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you packing heat?
A lot of
Oh, yeah.
celery?
Pardon?
A lot of celery? Smashing
bro.
celery?
Yeah. They're like,
No, that just increases volume, not sperm.
they're like your sperm count's high, Dan, and it's probably you don't need to know this, but you've also got giant loads.
and it tastes fantastic. You keep up the pineapple, it's turning
All
great.
right, now we got to test this guy again. Get 3 jars out. The 3-jar kid. Yeah, no, like I forget, but it was high. That was with Mary and I. Like both counts were high. It was just no result. So that's medically, I got a shit dick.
Is that what that means?
The
That doesn't sound like what it means.
delivery system, yeah.
Like the velocity of the jism, is it the
Well, they didn't have one of those speed guns there.
like a cricket gun.
Mark Taylor's commentating.
It's coming out way too slow.
He's braced that left knee there.
The delivery system. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, obviously that's just kidding, but yeah, like the count was high. I forget the actual thing because there's two things they measure. It's amount and also I think it's called like motility.
Oh yeah, okay.
So they got to move.
Yeah. So you can have heap of swimmers, but they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, they're just laying on their backs.
Well, they're just
Floating.
They're just at this.
Bunch of starfish.
Yeah, whereas my boys are doing freestyle. They're getting around.
They're just hanging there after the starting gun, going like, should we race or?
Yeah, it's like you ever seen a guinea pig race? It's a bit like that. A lot of confusion at the starting line.
I was just remembering. I think with the hermit crab racing that they used to have in Sydney.
That was big.
Yeah, but some crabs would be too shy.
Hermit crabs? No way.
I'm staying in my house. Fuck you guys.
I think it is weird that they bring their like house with them. You know, that'd be like a caravan race. It's like, brother, can't we just get regular crabs racing? Like, why have we got to get the hermit boys out there?
That would be good if they could get them to get out of the shelter, just run and then run back into the crowd what is it called? Shell?
Is it considered cruel to race hermit crabs?
I think so. I think it got the kibosh was put on it by kind of animal cruelty.
You can't have any fun these days. That seems so harmless to me.
Oh, you can. You can be a Chinese restaurant and have just a tank full of lobsters.
Yeah,
But you can't race them.
Yeah, man, look, this is just an overcrowded living situation. We're not subjecting them to racing. But yeah,
if you were going to race them, would you want to eat the winner or the loser?
Ooh.
The loser,
I
right?
would want to have the taste of champion.
Okay.
In my mouth.
The taste of champion?
The taste of champion.
The taste of champion in my mouth.
Wasn't champion code for cocksucker in prison?
That's like a myth, yes, that calling someone champ means cocksucker, but like I don't think it's as mainstream as what's made out in television and film.
You mean this podcast? We have a clip about this.
Do we?
Oh, might be out yet. Might not be out yet.
All right. Was I on that?
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about prison when you weren't here, you fucking idiot. Hey, you know Hammer was in prison? Anyway, let's revisit that.
You're talking about my area of expertise with Cam James?
What were the things that Andrew Hamilton loves?
What?
Like in the pilot ad, I was listening to them.
It was Parmigiana,
Yep.
beers,
Yep.
Abreves,
Braves.
and Googling his own name.
Uh-huh.
It was interesting watching because we were at the pub before this watching the UFC, and it was actually more exciting watching Hamo on his phone, just seeing the thought process go out in real time. So it was like ticket sales, and then it was Amazon Audible reviews for stories about the
Yep. See if the books sold anymore and it got any more good reviews.
and then onto the regular Amazon, and then it was onto Goodreads. You were checking your reviews on Goodreads.
yeah.
Wow. And then obviously Fringe Reacts as well.
Fringe Reacts, yeah, that was there.
course.
Fringe Reacts. Then I had a look at whether you had got any more Instagram followers.
Got to check in on me.
And then
Have you talked? You guys wouldn't have talked about your bet on the pod yet.
Oh, I lost the bet.
No, you got another one, right? Was
you
another live
lost
one?
the first
I
one.
lost the initial bet.
So now you owe me and Nikki dinner.
yes.
And now we have a new bet. I have to get to 300,000 followers before you get to 50.
50.
And the bet is the loser has to open for the other one, for the winner, and do a set of their choice.
Yes, the other person writes the set. So think the pilot ad, but 5 minutes and public.
And you'll also know that either way, probably Tom is going to have some input.
Yeah.
I'm going to be...
So it was at the end of the sentence.
I'm going to be having Tom chipping in a few ideas if I win.
we did make some rules right. No slurs.
No slurs
In the audience.
Ish, yeah. Yes, no slurs. What's a slur again?
That thing that we bleeped out in the second minute of the episode.
Okay,
Dad's
all right.
middle name.
All right, you'll have to give me. You'll have to give me a
Daniel
List.
Slur Muggleton.
Daniel Slur Muggleton.
You'll have to give me a list of the forbidden slurs.
How do you spell your middle name? It's N asterisk asterisk asterisk.
Oh, actually, do either of you know this? Because when I got my horrific Fringe Reacts, which I'm sure the floggers will enjoy in their own time, sex worker, they always put an asterisk.
In the word
Sex.
yes.
Does anyone know why? I don't.
Yeah. Oh, I knew that they did that on social media because like sometimes like the algorithm doesn't like it.
Oh, like it buries it, so it's just like for visibility.
Yeah. But what you saw it on a website?
On my reacts,
Oh.
they did the asterisk instead of the E in sex for sex workers, and I was like, I don't know.
I mean, I think sometimes they think that some of these platforms, if you say like sex or fuck or anything like that, that it'll like
Shadow ban.
flag it. Like then it has to go through another round of approvals.
Okay. I thought it might have been like people that are sitting there like Googling sex workers.
No, like there's all these
popping up on Facebook and
probably,
messaging people.
It's probably someone who's a nerd on social media that knows about this stuff because like there's even things like you can't say kill anymore. We got to say unalive.
Oh, I hate that. That sucks so much.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But like so any of those stuff like drugs, we will use an asterisk. So all that kind of stuff, murder. I try and you got to asterisk it because otherwise you can get shadow banned.
Yeah, that was actually an interesting thing with Meta relaxing the censorship policy because of Trump getting in, right? Like they got rid of their like kind of content fact checking flagging team.
It seems to me that Instagram is far more open minded to all that kind of stuff, and they were even before. That's interesting to hear that Trump being elected has made it even more so. But TikTok is just so strict on everything. We had a video taken down and given an official strike because Alan Fang was on like a back of a motorbike in Bali with no helmet.
Oh, it was like dangerous.
Yeah,
Right.
Surely Alan knows someone at TikTok.
yes, we've got a strike for that.
Man, one thing that's just happened with me on TikTok recently is it flags my stand-up comedy as AI generated. Like every video is like, this is AI generated. And I'm like, I'm a real boy. Like, but yeah, and you can't appeal it. It's just like, yeah, dude, you're CGI. And I'm like, what? No, come on. Give me a chance.
And that's only just started happening recently?
But in the last month. Because like someone commented being like AI generated, and I was like, what? And he's like, dude, like you're considered AI generated.
I've had comments on like that before with my fake business podcast from just like idiot punters, but I never thought anything of it. But that's funny if like you're actually getting identified by that by the platforms. That's great for my bet. That's great for the bet.
Dude, that'd be like, wouldn't that be weird? Just like the algorithm is just like, no, you're not a human.
Yeah, that's how you find out.
A cyborg, and we don't want you putting this content out anymore. So what are you going to do? How do you? What's your steps? What's your move?
Well, they can have it. It just get flagged as AI generated. So it's just like, this didn't happen.
Start generating a lot of tracksuit stand-up comedian videos from ChatGPT.
Is this
flooding
just
the
on
algorithm.
Instagram?
Just on TikTok.
Just on TikTok?
Just on TikTok.
Okay. So,
But it's just like, it's just so strange because it's just like, I feel like in filling out forms, we have been asked to like prove that we're not a robot many, 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 many times. And now it's like a platform. It's
Nah,
like,
you're
hey,
a robot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, there's nothing, there's no traffic lights, there's no motorcycles. I don't get a test.
Yeah.
I don't get to like send them a video being like, I'm a real, like, you know,
yeah.
doesn't happen.
So they think that your stand-up is just stuff that like ChatGPT essentially could write.
I think not just that. My appearance is also that.
Yes. You gotta open.
words combined with your entire look.
Yeah.
You gotta start opening all your stand-up sets by figuring out a captcha.
Just me holding up a sign with traffic lights. They're here, here, and here. Anyway, so I'm married and have a child.
This is a B. I know it could be an 8, but I'm pretty sure it's a B.
Just failed too many tests over time. I've realised. We should go. How long have we done, Tom? I think we've done.
Done over an hour.
Yeah, great.
Round 5.
Round 5. Cool. I don't know when this episode is going to go out, so I don't know what we should plug. But I think we should just tell the floggers to jump into the Patreon.
Yeah.
Because actually, by the time this comes out, there will be the post Super Bowl drunk cast on the Patreon.
You're pushing. You are pushing this. You're very keen on this idea.
I think it'll be fun.
Okay.
And it's just the kind of thing where it's like we do it and we feel very uncomfortable about it. And it goes to the floggers who we can trust behind the paywall.
Yeah, I'm going to say some even worse shit than I say in general.
God help us.
And then
You're going to find out what Andrew's middle name is.
it's no. And yeah, there may be some sack wax involved because I've had a few beers.
And he's in the middle.
We're just all sitting there with a mangina for the whole.
No, I'm going to just have a big stiffy. I'm going to
Roll
pop
on
a
a
pilot.
And that's how I broke my hand. Is that right, Tom?
I just like the idea in your nightmare. You're surrounded by people who are unfollowing you on Instagram. That made me laugh. I like that.
I thought the bit where Ben fucks my girlfriend was pretty bad as well. But
Yeah.
you know.
I am a little bit sad that things like Hamo Loves Big Tits wasn't on there. I thought that was a lock.
Oh, yeah, that's true. He does love those.
I mean, who doesn't?
Mate, I love them too, don't worry. Don't worry, dude.
Fucking sick.
Let's talk about it off the podcast.
All right.
Yeah, thank you, floggers, for joining us in another Perth cabin. Stay flogged up.
Check the dodgems.
Bye.